Good afternoon.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Laurie Taylor. I'm the Chair of Digital Partnerships and Strategies at the University of Florida and the Digital Scholarship Director with the Digital Library of the Caribbean.
And I'm Hélène Huet. I'm the European Studies Librarian at the University of Florida and also the co-chair of the Florida Digital Humanities Consortium.
So we're excited to speak with folks. We're going to answer a few questions. Our first is how we got involved in digital humanities and how that led us into libraries. So for me, my involvement in the digital humanities started when I was in graduate school from 2000 to 2006. I didn't know the term digital humanities at that point, but I was studying media studies. So within an English department working on video games, electronic literature, a lot of my work required that I be really fluent with creating different digital media, as well as, if you're doing film studies, you have to be able to make film clips of movies to include them in your papers or your websites or however you're doing your analytical work. I also had a background doing tech stuff when I was younger, building websites, building computers back in the first .com day. And so having those technical skills and really being interested in what we could do with technology, as well as I did a bunch of technical training, and I found that I absolutely loved working with people working collaboratively and how to make research and our work and teaching really fly. And that led me to libraries.
So kind of similar, I got introduced to digital humanities in grad school, although it was maybe 2013. And I attended a workshop in the Penn State Library, to my graduate school in Penn State. And I thought it was super interesting, and that I could actually use it for a little bit for my dissertation. So that's sort of how I got involved. And then I discovered that there was an internship program at the Penn State Library, and I got an assistantship in the digital curation and publishing, where I got to do a little bit more of digital humanities work. And I actually loved working in the libraries. I loved the creativity and the innovation that was going on there. And that's sort of what led me to the libraries. And now I get to be a collaborator and work in DH.
Excellent. And then we're also going to, our next question, we have 4 points we're going to cover. From the libraries, how we've been involved in the University of Florida's Digital Humanities Graduate Certificate. So for the Digital Humanities Graduate Certificate, because we had so many people who actively involved in doing the digital humanities, doing different trainings, doing embedded lessons and work in classes, the Digital Humanities Graduate Certificate emerged with, well, we have all these people who are doing DH, all these students who are doing fantastic work, and they're coming out with a real digital humanities education, but they don't always have the same credentialing to show it. And so let's do the graduate certificate, not only to give them additional credentialing, but to help really solidify more of the community across campus. So we've had a digital humanities working group since 2011. I think there are over 500 people on the email listserv, different events, that camps, other things, people come together. But the digital humanities graduate certificate is how do we come together in a more formal way? So I was involved in the planning team that helped establish the certificate, getting the certificate itself approved through the graduate school, and getting the new Digital Humanities Graduate Studio course, which is the capstone required of the certificate, approved and in place. And then I was in the first 2 years of teaching the Digital Humanities Graduate Studio course.
And I took over Laurie's role in teaching. So the DH Studio course comes at the end. So the student have to take a digital breadth course, and one is digital depth. And then they do the DH Studio course, and it is co-taught by a faculty from the College of Liberal Arts and by a librarian. And so for the past 2 spring semester, I was a librarian co-teaching the course. And it's just been really wonderful because students work on so many different projects, and there are very different levels too. For instance, this semester, we had a student who created an entire website that is actually going to be a huge part of her dissertation. So that's really amazing. And then we have another student who works in oral history and who is creating a mapping project. And she's going to use what she's done with her students in the fall semester so they can contribute to and add to the map as well. And then, so she's using this as a teaching tool, but maybe also potentially as a research tool. So it's just been great for me to learn from what they're doing, and to also be able to share a little bit of my knowledge with them. It's a great experience.
Yeah, and you're looking at rotating off now, the teaching studio.
I'm out.
But so it's a great way for us to continue to build capacity and community, and have more librarians have more experiences co-teaching, more teaching faculty have experiences co-teaching, and to really build, our community together.
Yeah.
So our next topic is on the specific example of the Digital Library of the Caribbean, or DLOC, from the librarian and scholar perspectives, what it is, how we're engaging to support the wider community of practice, and our current NEH Digital Humanities Institute. So the Digital Library of the Caribbean, which is DLOC, began in the early days of the internet. Judith Rogers was the director of the University of the Virgin Islands Library. So she had a university and 3 campuses on 3 different islands. So getting materials across the islands, as well as to all of the folks in the diaspora, people who have moved off the US Virgin Islands, how to share materials, and also how to make sure they're preserved. We're in a, we're coming up on hurricane season always, or we're in it. And so how to make sure we could preserve and provide access to materials, and how to do that together, not only to make the digital library, but then to leverage that as a way to build community and capacity for Caribbean studies librarianship, archives, museums, and studies and scholarship. So Digital Library of the Caribbean starts as a dream in 2004, and now it's the largest open access collection of Caribbean materials in the world, over 70 international partners, national libraries, national archives, tons of universities, a scholarly advisory board, over 7 million views each month. Yeah, so it's really, really tremendous. And the wider community of practice, we continue to grow, as with the NEH Digital Humanities Institute.
It's my turn. Yes, so actually, from May 20th to May 24th, we're having 25 participants from all over the US, actually across the Atlantic, and also from the Caribbean, who are coming to the University of Florida to learn more about digital humanities and Caribbean studies, and how to link to the two together. So they're going to be, talking to each other, learning what each other is doing, but also working on digital projects that they want to implement in their courses. So they actually have to come out with something at the end of the institute. And it's just very exciting to have all of these wonderful people. We have graduate students, we have faculty members, we have librarians, we have high school teachers. So it's a really varied group, diverse, and it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, we're thrilled to be able to have everyone here. So for our last topic, it's general tips or reflections about ways of becoming engaged in digital humanities initiatives. So my recommendations are always ask questions, try and set meetings with people, and figure out what you want to do from there, what tangible ways to get involved, and whenever you can have a CV-worthy project, a small project, but something that actually lives online that you can show to people, fantastic. And also try and find ways to work where you're getting paid for the work. So we have a paid internship program for graduate students, many different grants, always hiring people. We always want labor conditions and how we work together to be something on the surface, so we can talk about it very clearly, people can engage with the work.
What can I add to this? I was actually going to talk about the internship program, because we've had a lot of graduate students here do that internship program and learn about digital humanities initiatives that way, and who are now actually, they have taken that work with them to wherever they're employed, and it's wonderful to see. In addition to internship assistantship, and often like in the library. So go ask, because sometimes, especially for instance, if you're in grad school, you may not know that these exist, because they're not always well advertised. Another way is, get on listservs, to try to hear about some of the initiatives, and go on social media. I know that Twitter for me has really been really important in terms of building a community of people who are interested in the same things as I am. And it's a very friendly community, at least in my experience it has been. And as Laurie said, don't hesitate to ask questions and to reach out to people, whether you just want to see, how they've done what they've done, or how they became, let's say, a DH librarian or a DH professor. people are always happy to share their experience and to talk about what they're doing. So just, look for projects you're interested in, see who's been involved with them, and just go ahead and ask them questions.
Yeah. So that's what we had to cover, but it's great to end on the social media and Twitter, because we're both super active on Twitter. And yeah, send us questions, follow us, we'll follow you back. Let us know. We're always excited to build the community further.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.